What's up everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today the season 2 patch notes were released for all the character changes that are coming out. Now originally it was my idea to make a video about all the character changes, but with all the changes that came out, that video will be like 3 hours long. So for now I'm just going to stick to Hwoarang. Now first I'm going to go through the patch notes in depth, and then I'm going to give my opinion about how bright or dim Hwoarang's future looks in season 2. So without further ado, let's get started. Now here are some of the patch notes for Hwoarang. First thing here is his rage art. The opponent's recovery time is decreased by 36 frames on hit. Now the reason they did this is because Hwoarang used to be able to follow up on his rage art on hit. If you hit them and if they didn't hit the wall, then you would get a free hit before they were even allowed to move. So that's a small nerf. It's pretty warranted, no big deal. The hitbox expanded. Again, small buff I guess, not really a big deal. Here's his rage drive. The damage got nerfed a little bit by about 5 points total for all 3 hits combined. Small nerf. Really nothing major going on yet here. The hitbox on first hit decreased, harder to hit on downed opponents. Small nerf. Sometimes I would pick up downed opponents, sometimes I wouldn't. I got the idea that it wasn't really supposed to be there anyways. So again, very small change right there. The startup on third attack was changed from 30 frames to 29 frames. I'm not sure why they did that. They made the third attack 1 frame faster. I don't know what that means or why they did that, but again, that doesn't seem very astronomical. Nothing crazy yet. The opponent's reaction changed on hits. Again, your opponents really don't get hit by the third hit. So their reaction being changed is not going to do too much unless you hit them from back turned or in the midair like it says here. Something like that. Again, it's probably not really too big of a deal. Now here's his other rage drive. His Hunting Hawk rage drive. The up 3/4, 3+4. The damage got buffed pretty considerably, especially on his last hit here. It's a pretty beefy buff there. The fourth attack got changed to +4 on block instead of +2. So now this move might actually be usable outside of combos. You may be able to pressure with this move, or maybe try to crush a duck jab or something like that. Before it wasn't really usable because +2 is not that big of an advantage, but +4 is quite a bit better. So we'll see how that change plays out. The recovery on the fourth attack was decreased by 2 frames. That's pretty good. So when you use a combo with this move, it would be really hard to follow up. Sometimes it would throw them so far across the stage you couldn't reach them in time. So now the recovery was decreased by 2 frames, meaning you have 2 extra frames to reach your opponent and get that follow-up hit in a combo. So that's going to help quite a bit to help Hwoarang finish his combos after landing this rage drive in combo. 1, 2, 3 opponents closer on block. That's really no big deal. Now here's where some really big changes happen. 1, 2 forward 4 and 2 forward 4. So now that kick, that forward 4 kick at the end here, is changed from +8 to 0. Now that seems like a pretty big nerf, but let's keep on reading. The opponent is closer on block. That's not really a big deal. The opponent's reaction when blocking close or at a distance has been made the same. I don't really want to go into that too much, but basically when you hit them when they were close to you or when they were further away, if they blocked it, it would be a slightly different reaction. The frames would be a little different. Sometimes it would push them all the way back. Sometimes they would be in front of you. So now it's just going to be consistent. Your opponent's going to be in front of you the whole time. Not really a big deal. Now this is Hwoarang's first astronomical buff in my opinion. This is astronomical. Very big buff. So now that kick, that forward 4 kick after 1, 2 or after 2 will now cause a screw on hit. I'm going to show you why this is so powerful. Alright, so most good Hwoarang players, whenever they're being pressured with, say, down forward 1s or anything that has like a hole in it that you can interrupt, Hwoarang players will use 2 forward 4, right? Like that. It will get a counter hit. It was guaranteed. You know, it's a pretty solid move to interrupt your opponents with. Now that kick is going to cause a screw on hit, meaning it's going to look something like this. So that's what it's going to look like when you hit the 2 forward 4. Or that's probably what it's going to look like, something like that at least. So I imagine that you're going to be able to get a follow-up combo on that. Maybe a combo just like this, very similar to this combo here. That's a very big buff. With this move being 10 frames, you can interrupt a lot of stuff pretty easily, and being able to get a full combo and punishing your opponents for being overly aggressive like that is going to be huge for Hwoarang. He lacks tools like that, and that's a very big tool added to his kit. Alright, so let's keep going. Hwoarang's 3/4 second attack hitbox expanded. That's fine. It's a cool little buff. Maybe it'll hit Xiaoyu's AOP now. Even still, I probably wouldn't use it against Xiaoyu just because it's so slow. So it's a cool buff. It doesn't really do much, but it's fine. 4, opponent closer on block, doesn't do anything really. 4/4, damage increased by 3. That's fine. This really might be only a factor if you decide to punish your opponent with 4/4 instead of 4/3. Otherwise, it doesn't really do much. It's small buff, I guess. Opponent closer on hit doesn't do much. 4/4. The third attack can now be ducked after the second attack hits. It used to jail, but still, you shouldn't really be using this move. This is kind of a waste of patch note. Honestly, it doesn't do anything. This doesn't matter at all. 4/4 damage changed, increased by 3. Again, if you want to punish with this instead of 4/3, this is a small buff. If not, then doesn't do anything at all. Now this is another huge change. Hwoarang's down 4/3 and down 4/3/4 are now power crushes. So now Hwoarang has an armor move from his regular stance. Now people are going to probably be really mad about this because now Hwoarang has a armor move out of every stance, right? But he needed this. This is a huge change. So it's now a power crush. The damage got nerfed, which is fine. It's worth it. It's now -14 on block. That's kind of a big deal. But you probably, now with this being a power crush, you're probably going to want to finish the string anyway. So the first hit being -14 doesn't really mean too much. So now it's -4 on hit. Again, you're not going to want to stop on this hit, so that doesn't really mean much. Probably, that's my assessment. The reaction on counter hit has changed. That probably means it no longer launches on counter hit, because at this moment it does, but it was still pretty useless right now. So this buff is still a huge buff right now. Opponent's closer on block and hit, doesn't really matter. Now the finished version of this, down 4/3/4, the damage got nerfed by 3. That's fine. Opponent's closer on block, that's fine. Opponent's reaction on hit is changed. I'm not sure what this means, but it doesn't say how plus it is on hit, so I imagine that it still knocks down. That's kind of my guess. But maybe it doesn't knock down as far. Maybe it knocks down a different way. Maybe it gives you a free follow-up. That'd be crazy. Probably not. But we'll have to see when that comes out. The input window decreased. So basically it means you have 5 less frames to delay it. This is extremely delayable at the moment. So they're probably either making it not delayable at all or much less delayable than it was. Either way, that's fine. If you're using this move, you're probably going to want to finish the string now anyways, even though it is still pretty negative. So this isn't going to matter too much. Down 3, opponent's closer on block. That's good. Down 3/4, the damage got buffed. That was warranted in my opinion, because down 3/4 does less damage than most characters' one low attack. This is a low and a high combined. It does less damage than most characters' single low. To me, that's really bad. So the damage being buffed slightly is warranted. Now this is huge. Opponent closer on hit. I imagine this means that it's not going to push back anymore. So now all your options are available to you. Instead of just using the mid chop to finish off or having to switch stances to go low, you can now probably do things like down 3/4, down 4/3 for the mix up, or you can do down 3/4, down forward 4 in right foot stance. You know, all of your options are going to probably be able to reach now. That's what I'm gathering from this, and if that's true, that's a huge buff. So I'm looking forward to that. Let's see how that plays out once the patch drops. Down 4, it doesn't matter. You're not supposed to use that move really. Down back 3, opponent closer on block. That's fine. Back 3, damage got nerfed by 3. So here's where the damage nerfs start coming in. This by itself isn't that big of a deal, but when we start getting into all the other damage nerfs, it does kind of add up. So up forward 3+4. This I don't understand. Hwoarang's 14 frame punish is already really weak, and they made it weaker. Also, this is the move Hwoarang uses to wall carry. So again, to wall carry or to set up Oki options even. So again, this is going to nerf his combo damage a little bit more. So here's combo damage nerf, here's another combo damage nerf. Let's keep reading. This is pretty good. His 14 frame punish now gives +4 instead of +1. I thought that was a pretty big deal. That made his 14 frame punish really bad, but now that it's +4, it's a little more beefy, it's a little better. I'm looking forward to that change myself. That's a pretty decent buff. 4/4/4, damage got nerfed, and it's one more negative frame on block. That's fine, but again, this is one of Hwoarang's biggest combo weapons, right? He uses this in combos all the time. So this is again nerfing his combo damage. Pay attention, this is adding up. 3, 1, 2. Right, so right now this is what, -6. That's 6 less damage. Well, it's gonna scale, so it's gonna be even less than that, but let's keep on reading. This is now a wall bounce. That's kind of cool. Maybe it'll make this move a little more useful. Right now it's pretty useless, so we'll just have to see how that plays out, honestly. Alright, so this is Hwoarang's launcher out of his right foot forward stance here. Opponent's reaction when hit while down was changed. I can only imagine that this means it's going to be probably the same as Hwoarang's back 3. When your opponent is grounded, you use back 3 and they kind of flip over and gives you kind of an Oki situation. So I imagine that's going to happen with this, and if so, that's a pretty decent buff. I'm not sure how the hitbox is on this move when your opponent is down, so if it's as consistent as back 3 at least, then it should be a pretty solid buff here. Wasn't registered as a counter hit by opponent during the first half of the attack. This is a bug fix. It is going to act as a nerf because Hwoarang will be able to be counter hit out of this a lot easier now, but I assume it wasn't meant to be this way anyway, so this is more of a bug fix, but still it is going to act as a nerf. Not really too big of a deal though. During right stance 4, opponent closer on hit, doesn't really matter too much. Right stance forward 3, opponent closer on hit. That's okay, that's fine. They're making it so that your opponents are closer to you when you're in Flamingo stance, meaning you have more options. You can use all your options instead of them being pushed back and you being limited to only a few options. So these are all pretty good buffs here. Hwoarang's little stomp from right foot forward stance to down 4, opponent closer on block. I guess it makes it easier to punish. That's fine, not really a big deal. Again, not really a big deal. Same kind of scenario with his down back 3 and right foot forward. Right stance, back turns enemy. So that's Hwoarang's back turned low, kind of high crushing low that people use for Oki near the wall. Oftentimes, opponent's reaction, or opponent's closer on block. So if you use that while they're standing and they block it, the opponent's closer. I guess it makes it easier for them to punish. That's really not too big of a deal. See, 3, 3, forward 4. Now here's another thing. Here's another thing here. More nerfs to Hwoarang's combo damage. This is what he uses for wall combos. So again, these damage nerfs are adding up, right? Left Flamingo 3, again, this is used in his wall combos. This is used in his regular combos too. So it got nerfed by 2. These damage nerfs are really adding up. I think Hwoarang's damage is not going to be nearly as good. In fact, it might actually be a little below average. With all these nerfs adding up, it might be a little bit below average after this, which is kind of weird. Hwoarang has always had really high combo damage. Opponent closer on block with down 3. We kind of covered that already. It's the same thing, except it's in left Flamingo. Same move. Now this is interesting here. So Hwoarang's launcher out of left Flamingo, his up forward 4, the damage was buffed a little bit. The startup was buffed. Now it's 4 frames faster. That's pretty good. The active frames increased. That's pretty good. Changed to only -14 instead of -15. That's pretty huge. Most characters won't be able to launch punish you for this now. I like that change. That's good. The recovery decreased by 5 frames on hit. Okay, so this means that when you launch them, normally you would be kind of stalled. You have to wait for a while before you could initiate the combo. So now you're going to be able to react immediately after you hit them. That's a good change. Opponent's reaction on hit was changed. I'm not sure if this means they're not going to launch anymore. I feel like it still is going to launch because it is a kick that kicks them upwards in the air. Maybe it means they're not going to be launched as high in the air. I can see that definitely happening. So that's still fine as long as it's a launcher. Still really good. The jump status is good. It says 2 extra active frames of jumping, meaning it will have 2 extra active frames of being able to crush a low. Pretty good buff. This move might actually be usable now. In this Tekken and previous Tekkens, it's never really been a good move ever. So I'm interested to see where this goes. During right Flamingo, his down forward 4. Now this is one of Hwoarang's best moves, right? Right Flamingo down forward 4. This is his safe mid launcher in right Flamingo. It never did a lot of damage, but it was safe, really safe and mid, right? So the changes are pretty drastic on this. So let's see. The damage got buffed. That's good. It was changed from -5 to +1. That's good. but the reaction on hit was changed. So if you can imagine one of Hwoarang's best moves getting buffs like this and like this, you can only imagine that this means that it's no longer going to be a launcher, right? This move is not going to be a launcher anymore. So whatever it does, maybe it'll still give a knockdown for a free hit on Oki. I don't know. This move is probably still going to be really good. But yeah, I'm interested to see. We really can only speculate on this at this point because it's not very detailed. So we'll have to see what happens when the patch drops. Now, again, that really makes me think. What really makes me think that this is not going to launch anymore is the change here to his back 3 out of Flamingo. So this was his other launcher. Is now changed to only -10 on block. That's a huge buff for this move. The opponent's closer on block, that's fine, and the recovery is decreased by 4 frames on hit. That means it'll be much easier for you to combo after you land the move. Before, it would kind of make you wait, similar to this move here. And you would have to wait for a second, so you wouldn't be able to get the same full combo that you would have other moves. So now you probably will. That's good. This will probably be his launcher out of Flamingo now, and this will be more of a pressure move. We'll just have to see what happens when it comes out. So this is Hwoarang's grab, his forward 2+4. What's weird about this is it says during right stance. This grab can be used out of right or left stance. So I'm not sure if this buff here, this coming out on 12 frames now, is going to count for his left stance as well. Or maybe it's different out of right stance and left stance. I'm not aware of that. But this is a cool buff. Makes the grab just 2 frames faster. That's pretty cool. His right stance grab is nerfed a little bit damage wise, 5 points of less damage, but the startup frames again were buffed 2 frames faster, so that's fine. It's cool, I guess. Nothing too major. Now this is interesting here. Hwoarang has a punch parry now. We can only imagine it's a punch parry, right? Time with enemy punch. So Hwoarang has never had a move like this. I don't know how this is going to work. I don't know how good it's going to be. You know, what kind of damage or follow-up you're going to get off this. This is really interesting here. It's really going to help him with being pressured by people who just love to push a lot of buttons. That's what Hwoarang's weakness is at the moment. And that's what his weakness has always been, I feel like, in previous Tekkens as well. He's never had moves to make your opponent second guess pressing a button. So you have to just kind of play around your opponent all the time. So now with this punch parry, I think this is going to have a significant effect on Hwoarang's gameplay, being able to defensively kind of fight back. I'm really interested to see how good this is, and I think this is going to be a very major buff for Hwoarang. Alright, so let's quickly recap these changes and talk about what they mean. So, all in all, Hwoarang's damage has been immensely nerfed, like really nerfed. His wall combo, nerfed severely. His regular combos, nerfed pretty hard. I think his combo damage is going to be pretty average or below average now. That's a huge buff for Hwoarang. With that being said, his damage has been traded off for extra tools in his game. Now he's going to have so many tools to prevent his opponent from pressuring him really hard, from just being able to get away with a bunch of BS that they usually are able to get away with right now. And all in all, I think that Hwoarang will be very hugely buffed. I think these tools are going to be really strong. Hwoarang is going to have a very strong, or at least a much stronger defensive game than he has now. That's going to have a big impact on his gameplay. I think he's going to be used and a lot more successful in tournaments. I think he's going to be more successful online. I think he's going to be more successful overall. And I think Hwoarang's future looks really good. Honestly, the tools added to his kit more than make up for the damage that he's going to lose in combos. And I think some of these buffs were much needed. There were a few buffs that I wish he had. I wish the range was a little extended on his 4-3, just because it's so short and sometimes it causes inconsistencies in his punishment. I do wish that his running 3 had a larger hitbox as well. Just because sometimes people do a get up low kick and you'll do a running 3 over it, and your running 3 will whiff. It's supposed to crush that and hit him, but it doesn't. So that kind of sucks. But that being said, the tools are worth the damage being lost in my opinion. And some of the other buffs are intangibles because we don't know what they are exactly. So we'll have to wait to see when that comes out. But overall, I'm really excited for new Hwoarang. I can't wait to try him out. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think Hwoarang got buffed? Do you think he got nerfed? Are you excited to play him in Season 2? And if you like these type of videos, don't forget to hit that subscribe button below. It really helps me a lot. And I guess I'll see you guys next time. Peace.